Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. Keeping score, that's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. I've had enough of the media pointing fingers at Fox. I've had enough of the media acting like they saw the virus coming. And I've had enough of Democrats blaming Trump instead of China. They're not going to rewrite history on my watch. Liars and hypocrites are going to get called out. Let's start with MSNBC.
Everybody saw this coming. Everybody saw this coming in early January.
Who's everybody? It wasn't Morning Joe. You know how many segments Morning Joe did on coronavirus in January? 1. And this is what their guest said.
Americans do not need to panic. We don't need to be overly concerned yet in the United States about the novel coronavirus. We do need to keep our eyes open for the seasonal flu.
So if everybody saw this coming in January, how did Morning Joe book the one guest who didn't? Impossible, right? Now, here's what I said in January on The 5. We covered the virus 3 days straight. China has been lying about this thing. What? They've had it over there for a year, and they haven't told anybody about it, and there's been undocumented deaths, 1,000 undiagnosed people, and they've now, I guess, quarantined this one city, but people have already escaped the quarantine, and they have no idea where they're going. I think the Trump administration has a decision to make. I think out of the abundance of caution, maybe you slap the ban on now. I'm not afraid of this coronavirus at all. And I think other people, they have the right to be scared. That's their business. If they don't have a hold on this thing, you slap the travel ban on China both ways. That's right. I called for a full travel ban against China in January, and I called out China for lying about the virus. What was the media saying about Trump's ban? Politico said the travel ban could backfire. Coronavirus quarantine travel ban could backfire, experts fear. In New York Times, they said it was still safe to travel to China. Unbelievable. So, pretty ridiculous. Here's what Bernie and Biden said about Trump's travel ban. A move all scientists now say saved millions of lives.
If you had to, would you close down the borders?
No. Isn't it interesting that a president who has been demagoguing and demonizing immigrants, the first thing that he could think about is closing down the border?
This is no time for Donald Trump's record of hysterical xenophobia, and fear-mongering to lead the way instead of science.
So they were dead wrong, but now they want to claim Trump didn't act quickly enough. We're not going to let him get away with that. In fact, the press asked the top 2 scientists on the task force if the federal government acted slowly.
When you looked at the China data originally, you start thinking of this more like SARS than you do this kind of global pandemic. So I think the medical community interpreted the Chinese data as that this was serious, but smaller than anyone expected, because I think probably we were missing a significant amount of the data.
In a perfect world, it would have been nice to know what was going on there. We didn't, but I believe, Jim, that we acted very, very early in that.
So the lead American virus experts said America acted very, very early and could have acted even earlier, but China lied to us. But Nancy Pelosi, she's running around saying Trump's fiddling cost lives.
What did he know and when did he know it? That's for an after-action review. But as the president fiddles, people are dying, and we just have to take every precaution.
It's another cheap lie from Nancy. When Trump threw down his China travel ban, Nancy was pushing a bill in the House to prevent Trump from throwing down travel bans. What did Nancy know? Apparently, not a whole lot. Here she is just over a month ago.
You should come to Chinatown. We think it's very safe to be in Chinatown and hope that others will come. It's lovely here. The food is delicious. The shops are prospering. The parade was great.
Great advice, Nancy. President Trump actually spoke out about coronavirus during his State of the Union.
We are coordinating with the Chinese government and working closely together on the coronavirus outbreak in China. My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat.
What did Nancy do with that speech, if you guys remember? She tore it to pieces. Trump was fighting the virus, but Nancy was impeaching him. What a very sad chapter. NBC's Chuck Todd's getting in on the action. He tried to bait Biden.
Do you think there is blood on the president's hands, considering the slow response?
I think that's a little too harsh.
Good for Biden for not taking the bait. Chuck Todd actually moderated a presidential debate just over a little month ago or so. Now, guess how many questions Chuck Todd asked about the coronavirus? 0. Let's go back to my tape. Remember back in January when I said other people have a right to fear the virus? Andrew Cuomo, the mayor that liberals love now, he disagreed with me.
This situation is not a situation that should cause undue fear among people.
I don't mind disagreeing with people on feeling fearful. I don't want people to be scared. I don't think they should live their lives in fear, but I can't control that. I speak for myself. I didn't fear the virus in January, and I still don't, because I've learned about the infection. I'm healthy and have a positive attitude. We showed you last week how not to get it. Here he is again, Dr. David Price, the man, fighting COVID-19 on the front lines in Manhattan, and he's not scared either.
For the first time in a while, I'm actually not scared. Become a hand Nazi. Everything you know about your hands, just keep them clean, and you will not get this disease. The second thing is you have to start psychologically working on the connection between your hands and your face. So someone at a party has this and you shake their hand, right? And then you touch your face. It's that simple. That is how you get this disease. Those two things combined is incredibly powerful and will prevent the transmission of the disease into your family in 99% of cases. To know your hands are clean and to not touch your face. Period.
It's worth repeating pretty much every show. Keep your hands clean, don't touch your face, and keep your distance. If you do that, and remember what FDR said, you should be okay.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
And please pay attention to what the doctors tell you. Here's New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, just 3 weeks ago, not paying attention to the doctors.
This disease, even if you were to get it, basically acts like a common cold.
Mayor, 3 weeks ago, has restaurants and schools still open and says corona is like the common cold. But the media goes after Trump.
The Trump administration's war on science has left us vulnerable.
Donald Trump is not a doctor. I'm not sure he believes in science.
I have a problem with someone who's allowing people to die because he doesn't want to look at science.
Please. Trump actually listened to his scientists and extended the shutdown 30 days to kill the spike. But the media is still on the attack.
You've said repeatedly that you think that some of the equipment that governors are requesting, they don't actually need. You said New York might not need 30,000. You said it on Sean Hannity's Fox News. You said
you know,
that
why don't you people act? Let me ask you.
You said
why don't you act in a little more positive? It's always trying to
get you.
Get you. And you know what? That's why nobody trusts the media anymore.
My question to you is, how is that going to impact?
Excuse me, you didn't hear me. That's why you used to work for the Times and now you work for somebody else.
Media seized on you people and said it was racist. I mean, every day it's like another thing with these people. Here's a headline. Look, Trump snaps at black reporters calling them you people during Rose Garden press conference. Then this guy, Roland Martin, tweeted that Trump can't stand being held accountable by black women. I mean, it's just crazy. But Trump didn't mean blacks were you people. He says it all the time, and it has nothing to do with race. He's talking about reporters.
We closed very early with China, and I took a lot of heat, including from you people. I didn't have any symptoms that I got a test, but I got a test because you people were driving everybody crazy. Of course, look at my legal costs. You people, everybody is suing me.
So we're going to keep calling out cherry-picking snakes, liars, and backstabbing hypocrites on this show. The rest of the country is uniting against a common threat. Let's turn our weapons against the real enemy, the virus, not each other.